Hey guys, Tyler2K here. This is like take 5 now. We're going to go ahead and do a complete move list breakdown of Clive Rosfield, brand new character from Final Fantasy 16 who was added to the game today, or of yesterday as of whenever this comes out, I guess, depending on it. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do his breakdown. If you want to see just the move list by itself, go ahead and go to my channel, top right corner, where we go ahead and go through all the moves, and we don't talk about anything. It's just for context and posterity, so on and so forth. So, brand new character. First thing of note, he is brand new, so I don't know everything about him. I did not get early access to the character. So everything I've learned is either stuff I kind of seen secondhand from Twitter, or me just like literally labbing over this move list for like the last couple of hours and kind of testing things out. So that's the first thing. Second thing, there's a couple of things that are really, really strong on him. If you notice here, the new mechanic for him is this gauge, which I personally call like limit break, but it's the Zantetsuken meter. So what happens is when you go into certain stances and attacks, you have a different sword that comes out, which gains meter. So here with our level 1, we perform our special attack 1+4, which is just a normal swipe because it really doesn't do anything because we don't have meter yet. But as we use our sword, we do gain meter up to level 5. So now that we're level 2, we can do our special attack once again, and it costs us all our meter and then does a good amount of damage. So the reason I bring this up is you can get up to level 5 with the character, and then the damage itself is really, really strong. So let's go ahead and go to our enhanced state. Level 5. So if you saw, we did like 45 damage here. Now if we pop our full meter, we actually will do unscaled 80% or 80 damage, my apologies. Also notice the red life destruction. What really makes it strong though, is if we go and do something like a bad combo like this, due to like the scaling nature of this attack, we basically still do unscaled damage. So you can do a really long combo, end with the Zantetsuken, and then essentially just kill your opponent outright. So that's probably going to get nerfed. Something else that's going to get nerfed is like the Fly 2 option. Same thing. It does like really good, fairly unscaled damage in combos, so you're able to do a decently long, not super difficult combo, open field without any sort of rage, heat burst, blah blah blah, and do over 50% on some basic combos. So between those two, they're probably going to get nerfed. So keep in mind that everything I'm talking about today will be accurate in like a month. There's a good chance those are probably going to get toned down by Season 2, so keep that in mind. Let's see, let me go ahead and reset my meter. I think there was one other thing to talk about, but I can't think of it immediately. Oh, yeah. So if you notice, the only way to get access to the meter is by using the Zantetsuken option, and you gain meter, so on and so forth. We even have like optionally for it to 1+2. Anything. Oh my god. Sorry, it's Phoenix 2 1+2. Sorry, like I said, I'm new to the game. The character's new, so on and so forth, right? Okay, so we do have access to that, which you get from using the attack. Other thing of note is even on block, we still actually get meter. So even though we're negative, for instance here, our Phoenix 2 1+2 is -13, we still get meter. Now granted, if you notice the health bar or the meter gauge, we don't get nearly as much meter unless it hits. But you still get meter nonetheless. But unlike the other kind of install characters, if we pop our heat mode, we don't get any meter whatsoever. So if we start at level 1, we pop our meter, we don't get any charges of Zantetsuken whatsoever. So keep that in mind. We only get it from hitting or causing the opponent to block these incoming attacks. Now, instead, under the effects of heat mode, we get access to a few new moves that we'll talk about later. A really good one, for instance, is heat mode down forward 111, which is completely safe on block, and it's completely, a really good mid-checking option. Also, there's no frames to interrupt them with like a duck jab or whatnot. But notice once we're outside of heat mode, I can't actually perform the down forward 111 because it only is available in that mode. So instead, we have an option like down forward 12 and down forward 14 that are available. But as soon as we have heat mode again, hey, now we have full route access. So one thing I'll be talking about with this character is that the fact, like I was just talking about, you really can't duck jab anything on him. And instead, what you have to do is heat burst quite often. So actually, before I get into that, let's go ahead and start the move list, because that will be one of the first things we actually do talk about. in the move list. So let me talk about that in just a few minutes here. Okay, so our very first move is the universal attack Heat Burst, 2+3 or 5, +2 on hit, +1 on block, and then we have once again access to our heat mode attacks, and you can basically face roll the 1 and 2 buttons, and you're gonna get something cool. And again, you can't duck jab it. Characters like Jin and Leroy can parry it, but because the nature of this character being a sword-based character, normal characters can't reverse it or sabaki it. So only Jin and Leroy can parry it. So instead, again, you do have to use a Heat Burst, which we will talk about again very, very shortly. Okay, move 7 is Flame Bash, 1+2, a very good heat engaging attack. I-13, like the other heat engagers, +17. This move can also be performed at an FC for your wall stand 13 Punisher, wall stand 1+2. What's really nice about 1+2 is the fact that it's actually completely safe on block. So 1+2 is -9, wall stand 1+2 also -9, and then of course it being a heat engager, it allows for heat dash cancel. The issue here is of course it's a non-launching version, so the best you can do is like back 1+2 for instance. So you might think to yourself, okay, so what's like the downside of an option like 1+2? And it's basically the fact that the move is like fairly linear. So regardless of which way our opponent will step, the 1+2 will miss. But as a just general, I-13 poking heat dash cancel option, it's not the worst thing in the world, especially because a lot of things with this character have pretty good range. So, that's going to be the story of a character like Clive. Okay, 4-2-2-2 is a move that is -13 on block. And sorry, the bots get a little weird because the new action mode. So let's go ahead and put them on block all. So -13 on block. And then on natural hit, this is also not natural hit. So that means they can still block the last hit. -13 is not that bad. Also, as I was talking about, there simply are not enough frames for you to duck jab. Actually, I'll talk about that shortly. So what is the benefit of a move like 4-2-2-2? Under the effects of key charge, or counter hit rather, 4-2-2-2 is a natural NCC heat engager. The same is true at the wall. This is a heat engager wall splat. And then furthermore, in an open field situation, assuming we're already under the effects of heat, we can actually do a Rekka into a full launcher and do, combo your choice and whatever. So that's really nice. For a -13 option, for a really good range, if you look at the range here, we're basically range like 2.5 against our opponent, and we're able to sidestep. The other nice thing here with this Rekka is because we're inputting the hit and confirming. The second hit's only -8, so you do have time to properly confirm here, and it being a horizontal slash also helps out as well. Same thing earlier, it is a weapon-based attack. So let's talk about, in general, like how to, beat Rekkas and whatnot here. And that goes to what I was talking about. So if you have an option like a... Okay, I don't remember which one's first, so we'll find out together. Okay, so if you have an option like a Heat Burst or a Power Crush, you can always effectively challenge the Rekkas with an option like a Heat Burst. The same is not true if you use an option like Duck Jab or 110 framer. You simply don't have enough frames to actually challenge any of these options that Clive can present. So the interesting or first part of like second information regarding this Rekka option is quite a few of its attacks can transition into Phoenix stance, and you have one of two ways you can transition. So you can either hold forward, which transitions to Phoenix, or tap the 4 button instead. So I'm doing 4-2-2-4, and I teleport in. So either way. Notice though, when we go from -8 with 4-2-2, if we do 4-2-2 into the teleport, we're -5. The issue here though is similar to using, well, first of all, Duck Jab wins, but you usually don't want a Duck Jab because it loses to normal attacks, including safe ones we'll talk about later. So instead, we have an option like our Power Crush to effectively challenge our transition into stance. So we transition in and we're -5, and what that means at -5, I can't go for an option like Phoenix 4 that hits on 16s because we simply don't have enough frames to hit the opponent. So this is part of the meta. Now, knowing my opponent wants to use their own Power Crush, we can actually go for an option like Phoenix 1, which Power Crushes through their Power Crush, and then gives us the cool little frame break animation with the bonus damage on it. So that's part of the meta. We'll talk a little bit about that later when we get into like the heat moves and stuff like that. But keep in mind that's like the very general option. So -5 transition into Phoenix. You have to either predict what they're going to go for. Usually you're probably going to want to go for the Phoenix 1. Keep in mind that at -5, your armor activates on frame 7, so Duck Jab, I-12s will beat you. But again, that's all part of the Clive meta going forward. Okay, so Prominence is basically, I'll be honest, it's what Victor forward 1+2 wants to be. Forward 1+2 is basically a safe double hit attack. Of course, it's a heat engager. And then, yeah, on block, of course. Then it's, oh, whoops, my bad. Yeah, again, it's -9. So I guess technically, or -8. So technically, I guess it's a little bit closer to like Victor forward 1+2. But having the double hit option is a nice benefit. Other thing of note is that the Prominence option, is he going to be on the ground automatically? No, he's not. Okay, that's fine. Let me go ahead and just launch him. Oh, interesting. In my experience, in my testing, it actually hit grounded. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit worse than Victor forward 1+2. The nice thing here, though, is this hits on I-16. I think Victor hers is like 19, so it's a little bit slower. But unlike our 1+2 option, the Prominence option can be heat dash canceled for full launcher. So we get the sliding option, but that's still pretty good to keep momentum going, especially for like, decent range I-16 option to approach, and then heat dash cancel and launcher type and whatnot. So I'm surprised. I thought it hit grounded. In my testing, it kind of did. Also, it says on block, it does chip damage. Let's see how much. Okay, like 5 points. Not bad, not horrible. There are a few moves of this character that do chip damage, but he's negative. So I don't know. I don't really understand that. Oh, whoops, my bad. Okay, we were on Sidestep 2. Where does Sidestep? Oh, I guess we're under Heat mode. That's why we're under Sidestep. Okay, Sidestep 2-1. I talked about this in the video. I had predicted that this is basically like Geese Blue Spark, and that's true. So this option is -15 on block. It can be heat dash canceled for, of course, to make it +5. Otherwise than that, of course, Sidestep 2 1+2 or Sidestep 2 1 can be heat dash canceled for full launcher. So this is probably not the best tool you're going to want to use in this situation to effectively evade when you have an option like Sidestep 1+2 will be the very next move we talk about. The nice thing, though, with the Sidestep 2-1, let's go ahead and put him on Sidewalk, is that... Oops. Yeah, I see. I hate that. It's like you have to program it. It's nice, but... Yeah, the nice thing with it is that it actually has okay tracking. So that's the benefit. Keep in mind you're -15, so it's probably not something you want to do open field, or sorry, without heat mode engaged. So just please keep that in mind. You're going to be able to cheese out a few games at first, but give it a week, you're going to start getting launch punished for it. So instead, hey, what do we do? Well, the secret here is that you should be using a move like Sidestep 1+2 instead. So Sidestep 1+2 is like basically a better version of Sidestep 2. The issue here is that Sidestep 1+2 doesn't actually track. So regardless of which way our opponent's going to step here in this position, we're going to miss him. So the nice thing, though, is if our opponent is completely closed up, Sidestep 1+2 is +2 on block. You have an option if you want to try disrespect with like 1-2, -14. We'll talk about that later. One thing of note that you don't want to do, you don't want to go for a 1+2 throw. It's never going to reach. So instead, if you want to go for a throw, oh, wow, in my testing that hits too. Okay, okay, never mind. Okay, so yeah, the +2 is going to be a little bit harder to execute on. At +2, maybe down back 4 on I-19, but you still lose the Power Crush on 16 in that case. But okay, yeah. The benefit, of course, of the Sidestep 1+2 is the fact that it's a launcher, though. So That's pretty nice. And oh my god, I just realized I'm talking about the wrong move. Okay, so we jumped way ahead because yeah, these are heat engagers. My bad. Okay, so instead, what the move is talking about is Phoenix 1+2. So Phoenix 1+2 is a move that's completely safe on block. What's actually kind of nice about Phoenix 1+2, first of all, I'm pretty sure this is a heat dash cancel launcher. Oh no, flop state. Okay, the reason why it probably is a flop state is because on block, and let's go ahead and have you stand up. Is that it's -7 on block, so it's completely safe. Also, what you'll find is quite a few options out of Phoenix stance are pretty much fucking completely tracking. So if I go for like, let's say 4-2-2 into 1+2, whoops, into 1+2, we still track them, and then same thing if he sidesteps the other direction. This is at -5. Keep in mind that's still tracking, and there's no actual explicit homing move on this Phoenix. So again, this is going to the fact that he's probably going to get toned down because of quite a few moves like this actually full track, and we'll get to that later. So I imagine that's going to get nerfed in the future. The issue here with the Phoenix 1+2, same thing, you don't know it quite yet. This is the slowest move that he has access to out of Phoenix stance that is NC in certain scenarios. So he technically does have a slower option, but Phoenix 1+2 will be the slowest one that can link in certain scenarios, but we'll talk about that once we get to the heat mode moves towards the end there. Okay, and then 4-2-2-1 is... Oh, are we outside of it now? Okay, yeah, we are outside. Okay, so under the effects of heat mode, so normally when we do 4-2-2-1, we don't have access to the move. But under the effects of heat mode, we have a continuation attack, and this time he goes for an overhead dunk. Nice thing, as you see here, it actually tracks both ways pretty soundly. But as with the other kind of Rekka style attacks, the way to actually beat it is to do the power crush. Yeah, see, Rekka option, power crush is the way to beat it. Unless you're playing Jin or you know, Leroy, in which case you can reverse it. So, oops, my bad. Okay, yeah, so this is the example I showed earlier, and that is basically down forward 1-1-1. Same thing. Wow. Oh, was that on hit? Oh, sorry, he tried reversing too early. Now this one might be a little bit harder because a lot of these like heat mode attacks are multi-hits. So yeah, if we have them guard on the fourth, the fourth one, like this kind of goes to show you how kind of silly this character is. Okay, yeah, that completely jailed on block. So what I was talking about earlier. So again, remember how like if you do 4-2-2 in transition, we are -5, and how we don't have an option like down forward 1. Normally, outside of heat mode, we don't have down forward 1 mash, so on and so forth. So, the difference here, though, is now if we do down forward 1-1 and transition into stance. Oh, hey, now we're -1. So let's go ahead and put him on 2 hits, maybe? Question mark. And now we trade positive with recovery speed. But yeah, we have a few more options at our disposal. Something similar is true with our, instead our transition on hit. Now we go into +14 situation versus if we were to do like 4-2-2 here, and we enter in, we're only +6. So at +14 on heat mode, on hit, now we can go for like anything. We can go for Hell Sweep, we can go for, again, we can go an option like the, you know, 1+2. Oh shit, that's what happens if you tap it too fast. So that's something I kind of noticed also with this character, is like you have to be very deliberate with your input timing, kind of similar to like Victor. If you tap the like follow-up inputs too quickly, it's never going to give you the right thing. It's just going to assume you're trying to do the continuation of the mash string. So that's kind of an interesting thing here. But yeah, same thing like I was saying. So now on hit, natural hit, keep in mind down forward 1 hits on 14. On natural hit with heat mode, our down forward 1/1 on hit is now a plus 14 mix-up, which means everything we do from the spot is effectively going to win. At 17 frames or at plus 14, Hell Sweep can't be beat. Obviously, overhead is kind of a moot point. You don't have to necessarily go for it. But same time at plus 14, there's no frames to beat the Power Crush one, so on and so forth. Also, I think they actually get enhanced during heat mode too, if I remember correctly. Same thing, we'll get to that later. So keep in mind, now our Rekka, because we're doing it out of a special heat mode move, is different. One other thing of note, if you notice here, partially reuses remaining heat time. What's kind of interesting about this character is we basically just pay for the initial cost of the attack. So even though we're doing this full string afterwards, and like this, variations of different things we can perform, like for instance, I can go 2, 1, 2 instead, we're not actually spending any extra meter here than we are otherwise with that initial part. So same thing, because our opponent is in block string, now we start the ticking time, but we only pay that initial cost. So for instance, if you know that we're basically going to run out of time, like as you had seen there, so let's burn it down a little bit more. Now we can use our plus frames to go for an option like Heat Smash. So it's like, oh hey, my time's running low, but I can still effectively cancel my plus frame option into Phoenix. Okay, now I'm going to go have access to our mix-up here, and now I'm plus frames. You can't pair it, you can't reverse it because it's a Heat Dash, or sorry, a Heat Smash that's performed out of Phoenix. Really, really nice. So if you're able to calculate that, you can keep pressure going with basically zero risk, which, because the Heat Smash out of Phoenix is 15. So, but again, we'll talk about it later. Okay. So instead of the down forward 1/1 option that we just seen, where we just go full down forward 1/1 route and a bunch of mids in a row, he also has the down forward 1/1 2/1, which is a high sequence into an ender. Kind of similar to his other options that we've talked about already. And I need to turn off this because it's going to fuck up if I don't. Yeah, completely safe on block. So it's nice to have access to that. Notice how it also has a spin property on it. So if you were to do a long combo with heat mode, you can basically mash out the down forward 1 route and still get a spin at the end. So yeah, not much else to talk about it. Kind of similar to the 1 route. There is time for you to thread Power Crush, which is going to be like the way to beat this character, for sure. Okay, in a similar vein, so what's interesting about this move, heat up 1+2. So if we normally perform up 1+2, we perform our fly 1+2. But under the effects of heat mode, this is now an instantly jumping attack. Now, the thing of note is if you look at the status at the bottom, we're not actually airborne. So keep that in mind. But you do have this like really quick attack instead. Now the spicy part about this heat mode 1+2 is not the safety, which you of course you see there. Let's see, is this one NC? I can't remember. Okay, no, it's not NCC. The really big benefit of it is just the fact that you can transition, same thing, heat mode up 1+2 right into an option like our Phoenix entrance. So rather than doing down for 1 sequence, kind of similar situation, we can just do Phoenix shift right away. And similarly, we are at our plus frame option, although I guess technically we're -1, so that leaves some counterplay for Jin here, in which case then our mix-up would be between Phoenix 4 again and Phoenix 1. Although, is that... I kind of remember there might have been something special with this. Gotta turn this off. But as I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, maybe not. This might not be. Yeah, okay, it's not. It's just another safe pressure sequence that he can perform with up 1+2 into Phoenix probably being the most noteworthy part of it. Okay, kind of similar situation with the down forward 1/1 into the 2/1. We do have the high variation with the spin line on it too. So same thing, if you were to like, do a launching type, you kind of can flail on the buttons a little bit and get a still combo out. But yeah, the up 1+2 into the dash is probably the more valuable part about it. Okay, so as we had shown earlier, you know, of our Zantetsuken stance options. So let's go ahead and reset it because I don't want to show it yet. So we can perform an option like Heat 2, 1+2, which is our attack throw. The issue, as we had seen, is that when I perform this attack, we're -13. Now, under the effects of heat mode, things kind of get spicier. So now we're +4. Let's go ahead and put this back on. And instead of getting our attack throw animation, now instead we have a wall splat variation on our attack. So in a similar vein, by the wall, so basically our opponent just has to hold that. It's like, okay, well, you either get launched or we're +4 situation, and then we can keep doing whatever we want to do immediately after. So that's a nice change to the attack. So like I was talking about, this is something that's going to come up very, very shortly. Instead of getting our attack throw, which causes position change, we get the advancing attack, which is our wall splat. So that is part of like the hell sweep meta that, like I said, we'll talk about very, very shortly. But keep in mind, sometimes you don't want to put your back to the wall, or vice versa, right? You want to splat them and whatnot. Okay, so his heat smash, I-18. What's nice about it, you probably just saw right there, if you notice it says regain recoverable health. And on hit, this move regains a lot of health. Basically, we're at 25% health right now. We almost gain back 25% of our health when this move hits. So it does roughly about 20% regeneration. Sorry, versus 25. The really spicy part about this move, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier, it's probably going to get nerfed. Whenever we're plus frames, or at least +1, our heat smash completely tracks the opponent. So same thing, he goes the other way, +1, fully tracking. Otherwise, on block, we still get the health regeneration here. It's just obviously not nearly as much. Now, kind of similar to the other moves for Clive, the move or the heat smash itself actually has decently good damage, or sorry, range, because if you notice, when he performs it, he actually jumps forward and then does the attack. So if they're just a little bit too far out, you can still get at least some health back and some +8 pressure going on. But yeah, of course, the spicy part, again, is the fact that it fully tracks both ways, which is something the Phoenix Heat Smash also fully does. Although the Phoenix Heat Smash makes more sense. The only detriment here, of course, is that he's minus 18 for him to actually do the attack. So what happens is, if your opponent, I guess, technically reads it, because we go airborne, we actually get launched. Oh, okay, in that situation we didn't get launched. But yeah, during the transition he goes airborne, so you can get picked up before it actually occurs. So that's just one little thing of note. Okay, yeah, so like I was talking about here, so out of Phoenix stance, he can perform the Heat Smash. Same thing, we're +8. The nice thing here is that against a opponent, it causes a floor spike. So we're talking strong floor break, floor blast, so on and so forth. And as I was mentioning here as well, is that I'm going to go ahead and do, I'll do Anti-Rekka into Heat Smash. Okay, well, fully track to the left, or to the right. And now, likewise, it's going to fully track to the other direction as well. Oh, okay, so I'm not at that negative frame. My apologies. My apologies. Okay, so not a -5. So, okay, there's a little bit of counterplay, but anything smaller than that, it's going to track. Now, granted, unlike the other one, it makes a little bit more sense because, when he's doing this, you can notice he's kind of doing, the... Can I not jump ahead? I thought they would have fixed that in this patch. That kind of fucking sucks. Yeah, supposedly you can use your pad to, fast forward time. But clearly not. But yeah, he's doing kind of like a horizontal swipe, so it looks very similar to like Noctis 441+2. But okay, unfortunately, it isn't. So you know what can you do? But yeah, the ground spike is nice, and then of course just like the heat smashes, you can tag it onto the end of the combo for like a power floor break and stuff like that. Not nearly as valuable, but you know that's okay. Okay, so that is it for our heat attacks. Rage Art, nothing really to talk about. Your typical I-20 -15, whatever, 55 damage by default. The less health you have, the more damage it deals. Standard stuff. It's just your standard information there. I don't think there's anything special. Yeah, I don't think that's a proper OTG, so it might hit lower to the ground, but it's not going to be anywhere near as strong as probably, Claudio's or Paul's, or it's not Paul's, sorry, Jack's. So, okay, 1-1, 10-frame option. Let's go ahead and put him on block all. +6 situation. We can also transition into Phoenix that are +6. And then, of course, now the meta again becomes between Phoenix 4, Phoenix 1, and then at plus frames, I guess you can always go for Phoenix 3 as well, sort of thing. But, yeah, that not much to talk about there. Kind of standard 1-1 option. I assume this is safe on block. Oh, -3. Actually, that's better than safe. So at -3, then you can go for a Power Crush option, so on and so forth. On block, this should also be, let's see, probably -1, -3. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So at -3, we have access to our Power Crush. Same situation. So 1-1, -3 Power Crush, or 1-1 into Phoenix 1 for Power Crush. Same idea. 1-2 is a move that people were kind of freaking out about. 1-2 is a 10-frame knockdown. On block, it's a -14 on block. The only issue, though, it doesn't wall splat. So I was getting some bad information earlier from people where I was like, okay, well, if it wall splats, then it should technically be at least -17. But yeah, it's just a knockdown. Okay, cool, I guess. I mean, in certain scenarios, you might be able to get something at the wall from the +17 like knockdown state, but I don't think realistically it's going to be much of a thing, especially because down +2 is 22. So there's plenty of frames to tech roll and escape and so on and so forth. There might be some setups in the future, but for now, it's nowhere near as strong as people were saying. Other thing of note is that because you are using the Zantetsuken, that does give you meter. So it looks to give you a little bit under 1/3 of a bar. So, okay, that's probably your 10 frame if you want to gain meter quicker. But, yeah, don't worry about it on defense because it doesn't launch you. Don't worry about it on offense because you're only -14, and very few characters have like a launching I-14, so it's not much to talk about. Okay, 1-4-2 is an interesting move because it really feels like it should be NC, but it's a good thing it's not NC because then it would be a launcher. It actually has a lot of range too. And it also, furthermore, let's see, can I go ahead and have him follow me? Or standard approach, okay. Yeah, in theory, this probably has like really good splat range too. Okay, well, I don't want you to stand approach anymore. Let's see. Maybe a little bit closer. This will probably splat from like here. Oh, it's close though. Yeah, the other nice thing about this move, the 1-4-2, is that yeah, on block it's +1. So, I guess in a way, no, I don't think this is NC either though. Oh, it is NCC. Okay, my bad. So this acts very similar to, what's he called, Bear 1-2, because then at the wall, of course, we do get the wall splat. One thing of note is on natural hit or on counter hit, yeah, there's nothing special. You're just still the spin state, your plus frames, but there's no launcher to it or knockdown similar to Bear. But I guess by the wall, you do have that NCC option for wall splat launcher, which is good. It's good simply because, again, +1 if they don't block it, and then the mix-up between 1-2 is always there on the table. So again, at -14, it's not really a big deal to just let the 1-2 rock in most situations. Oh, there you go, too. Yeah, it does chip damage, although that one makes a little bit more sense. Okay, 2-1 is basically his 12 frame punish. I just did the just frame because I'm kind of used to it by now. But yeah, you can just hit the input. I find that like doing 1+2 options. So even though you can do like 2-1, you can still do 2-1+2. And in my experience, hitting 1+2 helps get just frames, quote unquote. It does more damage on block. Now this is where it kind of diverges. So remember how I said like, you know, the blue spark kind of geese attack? You would think like all these are -15. Well, actually it's not the case. -13. So a lot of these for, and it doesn't matter if blue spark or not, a lot of these for Clive aren't launch punishable. I think one of them is like -14. A few of them are -15, but for the most part, most of these kind of push away spark options are -13. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about here. It's a good 12 frame option, giving wall splat. Because again, unlike the 1-2, which doesn't consistently splat, an option like 1-2 will give you that splat type. So at -13, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to go for. I guess it does say high. So let's see. You probably can't duck it, but out of curiosity, let's find out. Yeah, it jails. So you're just going to take half the hold the -13. Yeah, and then on counter hit 2, it doesn't do anything. So you don't have to worry about extra like crumple stun property or something like that. You're just going to get that knockdown regardless. Okay, this is, speaking of which, this is part of like his Rekka series, where the final hit is 13. With the just frame input, it's stronger, kind of similar to like 4-2-2. The real meat on this move is the entrance into Phoenix stance. So let's say if you don't want the knockdown 1-2 property, you can go 2-2 into Phoenix to take your +6 mix up instead. So that's always on the table. Yeah, and then again, if you want to play chicken with them, the one option can come out, and it has decent delay on it too, so you can play chicken with your opponent. The issue here, though, is we can't really, it's harder to show like whiffing situations with Clive because his range is crazy. But that is an option for you as well there. I don't know why it keeps kicking me out of the menu. This is really strange. Oh, it's my cursor. Okay, 2-2-2. Yeah, so this is one of those kind of weird sequences that you would think is not punishable. Or, sorry, should be punishable or interruptible, but yeah, it's completely safe on block. And then, similar to what we had talked about earlier, the only way to actually interrupt it is with the punish option. So you have to power crush through the sequence, which then sets you up for, you know, the 2-2-1 to come through. So, okay, it looks like it will jail, so it's probably not the worst thing in the world. Out of curiosity, let me go ahead and do like 2-2-1. Oh, whoops, I gotta get that. Yeah, okay. We do a slight delay, and we're able to circumvent the jailing frame data that the 2-2-2 would present. So, okay, there is some counterplay possible, and again, at -13, it's not the worst thing in the world. And then causing like the knockdown ass state. So that should give us like a back 1+2 guaranteed. Okay, or not, my bad. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not even sure what would hit in that spot. Usually you would have like an advancing shoulder. Out of curiosity, let me just do. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, because that 4+2 doesn't hit. And we've already discovered that already in this video too. Okay, so some sort of ground hitting option would be your go-to. You might have time to do like down 4-3, but I would doubt it. Yeah, you have to really delay that. Oh, okay, so well, no, it didn't link. That just looked like it linked. That wasn't a link. And then, yeah, 2-2-2. On hit. God, I hate how it's harder to jump away. Yeah, we do get the, you know, I can't remember the wolf's name. I know I kind of mix between like Worgen and Lycan, which are both incorrect in the context. But, yeah, same thing against an airborne opponent. The wolf will still come out. and that will be our spin state option. So, you know, if you're one of those people who are brand new to the game and you just want to hit 2-2-2, right? I'm smashing 2. Oh, okay, whoops. That one is a little bit too fast. Like, one more time. There we go, okay. Oh, well, maybe I missed it. Yeah, so you can do a 1-button combo. So, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Noctis had something similar with, like, his airborne 2-2-2 structures and 2, so on and so forth, but whatever. Okay, so if you notice the animation there, the 2-2-2 option, or the airborne version, is basically similar to that. We have something similar with our Zantetsuken, my bad, option. So 2-2-2, same thing. You might think to yourself, well, if you notice the hit option at the bottom, he says he's actually airborne. And you're like, okay, well, maybe the reason why he goes airborne is to, let's say, beat an option like our duck jab, right? So let me go ahead and show you this. Okay, so let's say you know you're 2-2-2. Okay, 2-2-2 beats duck jab, and then 2-2 1+2, same thing. Also beats duck jab, and the reason being, if you look at the frame data, both 2-2-2 and 2-2 1+2 both hit on frame 27, so there's no mix-up here per se. Now, the issue here is if you're someone who likes hitting like various buttons, is whereas an option like 2-2-2 loses the power crush, if we perform 2-2 1+2, we're airborne, so we get launched. So keep that in mind. So you might think to yourself, okay, well, I want to get some meter here, so I'm gonna go for an option like, you know, it's the 2-2 1+2 option, which in theory is okay, because hey, oops, like hey, you know, okay, I'm only -13, similar to like the 4-2-2 series, stuff like that. Okay, I'm only -13. I need a little bit meter, but yeah, if heat bursts on the table, it's probably not the best idea to go for. Also, like the other 2-2's options, you can just cancel the final option to go into Phoenix. Okay, 3-2 is definitely a move. So 3-2 looked similar to like Victor back 3. The issue is it doesn't have nearly as much range, and also 3-2 on block is -12. And then you might think to yourself, okay, well, at the wall, like, there's a reason why this move kind of exists, right? Well, it's also -12, so okay, well, you're like, okay, we power up during heat, so let's go ahead and do heat mode. I don't know, it's still it's still -12. The issue here with this move is that on hit, it doesn't actually do anything. And then on heat mode, it also doesn't do anything. What's going on here is the type of attack that the wolf is performing is a different type of wall spot attack. And look at how hard it is to actually space this move out. So under the effects, and you see there it didn't work. Under the effects of heat mode, this wolf attack is more of like a strong wall break. And then normally on natural hit, it's just a push away. So, like I said, I don't know if this move is bugged or what, but you just simply, it doesn't do what it was intended to do. So instead, the only way to get this to link is to somehow get like the wolf to, I don't know. I found one fringe case, and it just forget 3-2 like exists. So instead, well, you don't also want to think of 3-3. So 3-3, what happens is it shifts to our first of our Wings of Light stance. So if we tap 3-3 on block, we transition into stance, and as you notice, we're -18 on block here. So we tap down to crouch, or fall back to the ground. The issue here is that 3-3 is not actually NCC either. So unlike an option like a Elisa back 4-4, it doesn't really do much of anything. So instead, of course, the reason for 3-3 is to transition to stance, where now we can perform our fly 2, which look at the damage, right? Like, look at how easy that combo is. Down forward 2, 3-3, and I'm mashing 2. And now I let go, because it's attack throw. There you go, 70 damage off of -13. But okay, that's okay. But yeah, for the most part, just forget 3-3 exists. Usually mid-combo, you're going to want to use like an option like down forward. Down forward 1-4-3, which is like a better version of 3-3 for combos. So for the most part, same thing like 3-2. Don't think about 3-3 as a move unless there are specific combos you want to go for. Like for instance, I guess if you're at the wall, let's see, in theory this probably should hit. Okay, it still picks up, and then same thing, we can probably still get our attack throw going on. 2. There might be a better route, but hey, look at that. Same thing. Boom. 71 damage. Easy peasy. Sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, at the wall you have access to it. Open field you can do 3-3, but same thing like I said. Just kind of forget that these moves exist. It's going to make your life easier. Okay, so 4-2 is basically a long-range 12-frame Punisher. If I remember correctly, it doesn't do anything at all. Yeah, it's just always going to be a +3. The issue here is that you're really just looking for range versus an option like 2-1, which won't have nearly as much range, but 4-2 will have the extra range necessary to punish certain options. On block, 4-2 is -11. It kind of looks very similar to Noctis's forward 4-2. The issue here is 4-2 doesn't actually wall splat. It's just a +3, which is one of the not great frame datas in this game. So just please keep that in mind. It's just going to be your long range, like 12 frame Punisher. So same thing, kind of forget it exists. In certain matchups, it might be more noteworthy. Okay, 4-4 is a interesting variation on 4-2. So in Hey, 4-4 is a high, so it's like a natural mix-up to an option like 4-2. But, yeah, I don't know, really. I guess, let's see here. Because 4-2 can't be special canceled into Phoenix, right? So 4-4 can. So +14. Keep in mind the issue with 14 is our fastest attack out of stance is the low on 15 and the 2 also on 15. So nothing is guaranteed. It's just a mix-up between Phoenix 4 and Phoenix 2. But I guess in this context, you want to heat dash cancel it. So 4-2 is just the mix-up for 4. The issue, of course, again, is that 4-2 doesn't do anything on counter hit. So it's a little bit devalued. Okay, we already talked about this. 1+2, easily one of his strongest moves. Use it. There are scenarios where like wall stand 1-2 on 13 is going to be a little bit more valuable. But for the most part, I'd say for most people, just learn wall stand 1+2. Don't worry about it. Okay, 3+4 is how you manually enter into Wings of Light. From Wings of Light stance, you can fly around. You can perform attacks. And then you can also cancel stance by either tapping down or tapping 4 to go into the transition to Phoenix. The issue here is that options like 3-3, again, you're -18 in stance, and your quick attack out of the stance is flight 1 or wings 1. So yeah, be careful when you enter into wings. You're basically asking to hopefully make a good read on your opponent. Okay, so what's nice about this entrance, if you notice, it has a strong low parry effect. So if our opponent challenges us, we actually will reverse the incoming low option and then get a launcher after it and do our combo choice. Now, similar to a character like Negan, we can actually stay in stance. And during this entire stance, we're always low parrying as well. So they cannot do an S mid or S low option. They're going to have to anti-air you. As talked about, once you're stuck in stance, there's no power crush or options you have to interrupt. So you're going to have to go for a slow tool to try to get out of stance. So once you do this and you're gambiting that low coming out, right? You're all in. Other thing of note is what's interesting about this. We can't actually cancel into Phoenix. You can manually cancel Phoenix by just like tapping forward, forward 4. But yeah, usually in my experience, you're going to want to do a dash up into a down back 1+2 pickup instead. Okay, 4-2-1 is NC option. I-15, pretty good range on block. This is completely NC. On block, This is +1, kind of similar to 1 forward 2. The issue here is that it's hard to tell, but unlike other attacks where I can like tap our inputs like forward 2-2, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, forward 2-1 I cannot delay at all. So here, listen. So that's me. So I cannot delay it. I have to commit to the input. So there is no confirming. This is us going all in every single time we go for this input. The benefit, of course, is that it's NC, it's plus frames, we get a wall splat, so on and so forth. But we're all in when we hit this input. So we're either winning or we're dying. There's nothing in between. Also on counter hit, I don't think this does anything, but let me go ahead and test it. Wow, look at that range, dude. Like, it's so absurd. Like, look at that. Wow, how am I even supposed to test this? Okay, no, it doesn't. God, sorry, we came on with Victor. The Clive range is insane. Okay, we already talked about this. Forward 2-2-2, NCC option, heat engager, full wall splat, Rekka option so you can hit confirm it, and only -13 on block, so it's pretty fucking good. Okay, to mix up into our Rekkas, we do have the overhead option. Same thing. It's hitting on the same frame, so there really is no mix-up here. It's just if you want to gain the extra meter that's on the table. Also, if I remember correctly, yeah, okay, it is NCC. Okay, so I take that back. I was going to say, I didn't think that was NCC. Of course, this is not NC, so it has to be counter hit otherwise, but same thing, on block, you still get meter. 4-3 is interesting because this is going to one of those moves I was talking about earlier. So, oh, hey, cool, we get like a hop kick, right? And we get a launcher. And then on block, it does chip damage, but also on block, it's -14. So, I don't know. I would say instead, you probably want to use an option. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Okay, I guess if you just need to get JS9, it's on the table. It does chip damage on block, so maybe it'll fool some people into thinking it's like safe or plus. But yeah, it's just a really quick option. It looks very similar to like knock this up forward 2, but knock this up forward 2 is also significantly slower. With that being said, knock this up forward 2, and I don't think I tested this, also tracked. Or it didn't fully track, it had some phantom tracking. Okay, so clearly this doesn't work. Out of curiosity, I just want to do a sidestep instead. Okay, so maybe it does just beat sidestep. So kind of similar to Noctis. Okay, so no, it just phantom tracks one way. Okay, I'm glad I tested that. Yeah, it's just a low crushing option. You need to get a hop kick going on that's slower. It's like an unsafe orbital. Just think of it that way. Forward 4 is just how you manually transition into Phoenix. Again, other stances or options, you can just hold forward. Otherwise, you can do 2-2-4. Same thing, transition into Phoenix stance. So, from Phoenix stance... Oh, shit, we're not to Phoenix stance yet? Okay. That's they kind of decided to flip things up here. Prominence again. Safe heat engager. Full launcher on natural hit with the heat dash cancel. Oh, so this is an interesting move. So down forward, so we talked about how like down forward 1-1 doesn't exist, right? So we have a mix-up, and actually I won't talk about the mix-up yet. So this is our first part of the quote-unquote mix-up here. So from our Outlaw Burst, we can, once again, down forward 1 is I-14. So this is actually our I-14 wall splat option. So we can do down forward 1, 2, 1. Which is completely NC on block. So if the first one hits, the entire part of it hits. Now, if you notice, it does have a just frame input, which is kind of similar to like a demo man input. You just have to be a little bit more deliberate with your timing input. The thing of note with the down forward 1, 2, if you notice, is that the second hit is actually a high. And on top of that, it's a high that's -16. So if you don't go full route, in which case you're -15, you're still launch punishable. They can duck it and wall stand launch you. And then, again, you don't have access to down forward 1-1, which is the safe option. So we can cancel instead of going like the full I-14 route, We can cancel into Phoenix, in which case we are plus frames, +6 again. But the real mix-up to an option like down forward 1-2 is the very next move in the move list, which is down forward 1-4. Down forward 1-4, -10 on block. It is NC for +1. Also, if you go full route, well, we're -18 because we go into stance, of course. One thing of note is this is not NCC. And let me, out of curiosity, I'm pretty sure that even the second hit's not NCC either. Yeah, so again, similar to like 3-3, you're not going to get anything like similar to like Elisa, so just forget about it. Instead, this is going to be like your launching option. We pick up, and now we hit our 2 button. And again, like I said, goodbye 50% of your health instantly. Like, that's usually, again, what you want to do for your post-spin option. And then you can also keep your combo simple and still do a good amount of damage because of the unskilled nature of that final hit. But yeah, that's usually how you want to go into your spin option. And again, NC +1, otherwise you're -10. But that's your mix-up. Otherwise, if you're in heat mode, of course, it's better to go for the down forward 1-1 route because it's so much stronger than anything he has normally. Okay, down forward 2, standard I-15 crouching launcher. If they crouch, it launches, so it's -13 on block. Typically, -13 means it high crushes, but I don't think this high crushes. I just think he just has a penalty on it. Also, what's interesting is it doesn't actually have like super good range because he does like a hilt attack before he does the swipe. So like for instance, if we're Negan or not, we'll knock this for sure. Our down forward 2 would hit here, but the hilt strike kind of makes it a little bit worse on range. So please keep that in mind. Also, from our down forward 2, similar to Noctis, we can kind of smash 2-2 and get our extension afterwards. What's interesting, and I won't talk, well, I guess I'll talk about it right now. So if you do a jumping attack and hit on the way down, you can actually get like a blue spark attack. So it does a little bit bonus damage, but with this down forward 2, I don't think there's any way to ever do a blue spark variation on this. So unlike Noctis, where you would hold up mid combo to transition to fly, and then you do like, you do your like 2-2. He can't do that with down forward 2. So instead, you're just mashing up the 2-2-2, and then like I said, 2-2-2, and then cool, we get a cool combo. Right. Okay. People have been calling down forward 3-1 his snake edge. The issue here is that it doesn't actually launch. It's just a 27 frame low option with a little pushback on it. Yeah, look, it doesn't even full splat either. Now, it does have a just frame. If you hit it when the attack occurs, notice we do 4 more points of damage or 3 more points of damage, and we get a blue spark on it, but there's no extra properties on it. The only benefit of this is that it fully tracks because it's a homing attack. With that being said, we'll get to it later. Down 4 also fully tracks, so I don't know why you'd want to go for a seeable down 4 when you can just do down 4, which is a launcher, but whatever, that's fine. Oh, you can also use this mid combo. I don't know how like practical it is. Oh shit, I transitioned. I'll just do ah, shit, whatever. You can use a mid combo. I can't think of an immediate combo line. Ah, fuck it. Ah, whatever. But yeah, you can use it mid combo. They do that in the trailer, but same thing. It's like, there are better options to go for that you probably should go for that. Oh yeah, one thing that's kind of weird with Clive is he has moves that are names for other moves. So Door Knocker doesn't do anything on counter hit. It's just a straight I-14 kick. Safe on block. But that's also the name of like Yoshi's Wall Stand 2. Now granted, it makes a little bit more sense to have a move called Door Knocker for him. But yeah, there are moves that he has, like not even like Pile Driver, but there are few like bleed over moves that, like I'm like, oh, they kind of got lazy with the name, but whatever. Down 1, people have been calling this basically Dragunov down 2. +2 on hit. Not really much else to talk about. On counter hit, it doesn't do anything. Also, I don't think this has the tracking of like Dragunov down 2, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so they can still fully step this. The benefit is just that it's an invisible low. That's +2. The issue, though, is at +2, you really can't do much to execute on it. The issue being at +2, he has an option like full crouch jump or 2. So this leaves you an FC. So you can go for full crouch jump or 2. But at +2, into a 19, we still lose to like heat burst. So whatever. It's an invisible low. That's the benefit of it. Okay, speaking of moves that are very similar, down 1+2 is basically, as I talked about, almost identical to like Victor down back 1+2 or down 1+2. The issue though is that down 1+2 doesn't actually track for Clive except to the your left, his right. So it's a little bit worse than Victor's version. The benefit, of course, is that you're looking at your like just spin option. Oops. If you just need a really quick spin, that's your go-to. Just down +2. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'll cheat. Down +2. And then do your combo of choice. So it's consistent. It's a OTG option. So, for instance, if our Jin player stays on floor, well, we still hit him. But we don't get a relaunch or anything like that. I guess technically, in certain scenarios, this might be a relaunch if they get up incorrectly. But it's not going to happen. Same thing, I would say probably don't worry about this move. In the future, it might be a little bit more valuable, but as of right now, I can't see any like tech for it that would really be worthy. And then, of course, it's also a spin, so open field, you can always just do like an option like that if you want to do. So. Okay, speaking of... Okay, so actually, no, I take this back. This one's okay. So down back 1-1 is an attack throw. It is a homing attack. And then if you hit the opponent, it will give you the little serpent kind of attack. There is a just frame on it, which I'm probably not going to hit because this one actually is hard. There you go. Okay, I got the just frame. Never mind. The benefit is that you can use this mid combo for a spin that's on the table. The nice thing is kind of similar to like King forward 3 is the attack throw only occurs if they get hit. So if they block it, we're still mashing out the input, and now we get the OS. And of course, it's a homing attack. But on block, we're safe. It's pretty quick at or at 17. Also, the range on it, just like everything else in Clive, is pretty good. So actually, all things considered, it is nice to have a tool like this. Also, I think on natural hit, I think it's a wall splat too. Yeah, so that's actually really, really nice to have a tool like that. And then, yeah, being a homing attack, oh, you want to try to step out of the way, well, now you're dead. And then, best of all, it's a fast high, and again, it's safe on block because, like, right, the attack throw never comes out. So that's kind of cool. Nice little utility option when a lot of characters don't have, like, super good homing tools. Okay, this is the move that is dog shit. Okay, so please in the comments let me know how this is supposed to work. This is down back 2-1. You know, hey, it's NC. It wall splats. So you're like, okay, cool, that's a thing, right? On block, it's -13. So, okay, sure. Okay, he tried to sidestep, he got hit, right? Cool. On block, -13. So if you read it, hold at last step to power up. The issue is that this doesn't guard break. Under heat mode, it doesn't guard break. And then worst of all, most egregiously, like actually I think even like normal sidestep, they don't have to do anything. Okay, well, okay, sorry, beat sidestep, but it sidewalk annihilates it. So I don't really understand the point of this attack. It would make sense if it has like the power crush breaker property, the whatever they call it, the guard break or armor break, but it doesn't really do much of anything. So I guess maybe the benefit is just the range on it, having the super long range, you know, mid option. Oh, not even that good range. Okay, a little bit worse than I anticipated. So okay, that's cool to have that, but I don't know. Same thing. It feels like there's better tools to have, that, you know, for minus 13, there are other options you can go for that actually have good tracking and stuff like that. So, I don't know. If I was to guess, this move is probably going to get buffed in the future. So, okay, Demic 4, everyone's favorite. This is a counter hit low launcher. It does cause instant tornado spin, so it's a little bit worse than other Demic 4 options like Victor, Lars, you know, so on and so forth. The benefit here, though, is that it just tracks like a motherfucker. So I-19, and it basically fully tracks both directions. So you can't react to it on 19 frames, completely invisible. And on hit, it's +4. And then, of course, you know, again, on counter hit, we have a full launcher. So pretty fucking good move to have access to, especially when you have a move like down forward 3, one that doesn't really do anything. Down back 4 is like so fucking strong for this character to have a tool like that. Maybe against a Lily or a Elisa, it doesn't properly track, but realistically, for everyone else, it's going to. It's really, really nice. Okay, down back 1+2, 1 is a move you guys are gonna have to get really used to. On natural hit, it is just a knockdown. It's not NC though. So if I were a Jin player here, just blocks the whole route, we're minus 13. The difference though, the real benefit of it is against an airborne opponent, he transitions into the fly state. So from fly, of course, you know, go for 2-2, or the everyone's, you know, modern current combo is the fly 3 pickup and then micro dash or deep dash down forward 1 lines. So yeah, that's going to be how you typically get airborne if you want to go for a spin line. And then same thing, if you don't, you want to go for instant spin rather than a carry. You just go for like 3-3 or down forward 1-4-3, so on and so forth. Important move. Okay, okay, here it is, Blue Bolt, which is Lars forward back 2. Blue Bolt is kind of similar to Claudio's old back one. On block, it's minus 13, but on counter hit, it's a full crumple stun launcher. So it's nice to have access to that. The thing of note, though, is that it has no fucking pushback. So even at like kind of tip range ish, yeah, you're not going anywhere. They're gonna get their I-13 on you 100%, or at least a 10 on you. The benefit, of course, again, is just the homing property on it and the fact that it's a counter hit launcher. That's the benefit of it. But same thing, you're going to be seeing this move a lot, so be ready to launch it. Okay, yeah, sorry, by the wall, it does cause wall splat. So that is nice, but you don't have the safety of like a Claudio back one. While it kind of acts like a mixture between 7.0 Claudio and like Season 1 Claudio, so. Back to, let's see, what's back to? Oh yeah, back to. Okay, so far we've seen our Phoenix entrants go from anywhere from like -5 to like +6, right? Back 2 is where things kind of start getting funky. So on first glance, back 2, okay, we're +9, non-homing, I-20 option, counter hit, doesn't do anything. So you might think to yourself, okay, well that doesn't seem that good. And then you read, okay, we transition to Phoenix, so like I would be like, what, +3, +6? Now we're +23 after back 1. And remember what I talked about, how like 23 is like our major breakpoint? Because from here we have access to Phoenix 1+2. So yeah, that's where back 2 comes to play. Yeah, that's really, really nice. And then on block as well, we don't, of course, get the nasty 23, but we still are +6, and we still can force a mix-up after here. And keep in mind, even if you aren't really looking for the hit confirm on like the 1+2, like if you still go into a 1, it's still a wall splat. If we go for, oh whoops, okay, well this is things get a little weird here. So we go 2, 1+2, we get the position throw, and then if we go 2-2, oh sorry, 2, 1+2, my bad. I tapped too quickly. Oh, maybe not. Okay, no, I take it back. So he does 2, 1+2, OS is the okay. He has 2, 1, which is a knockaway. We'll talk about this later, which is then our wall splat option. My apologies. I forgot. The 1+2 doesn't exist except when you're in heat mode. My apologies. But yeah, still, again, at our +6, we can execute on this +6 idea to go for an option like, 2-1, which is only -12, or again, the 2 mid in case, -13. Or, again, I-15 low. Or we can go all in with the Hell Sweep option on 21, which technically can be beat. But it loses the power, or does lose the power crush. Wait, no, 6. No, it does beat Power Crush, sorry, by 1 frame. So yeah, back 2 is actually kind of a cool attack. Especially if you're able to properly space it, because, like, look at the range on it, right? Like, they have to hold that. So, I mean, kind of cool. Definitely meta-defining, and I'm sure people will be looking for it in the future. Okay, Mercenary Kick is basically Negan's back 1, or back 4, my apologies. Safe on block. And then on counter hit, is actually a full launcher. Also similar to Negan back 4, it does cause a ground hit effect. The issue here, though, is that it's not actually a steel pedal. So while we do get the ground hit effect, we're not steel pedaling, we're doing the old-fashioned kick way instead. So just keep that in mind. But the nice thing, again, it's a safe kind of attempt to go for a back 4, because, again, the counter hit is so good. And then, yeah, we also get a natural wall splat. So it's a very, really useful tool to have access to. Is definitely a good part of, like, Clive's kind of move list. So keep that in mind going forward. Okay, back 1+2 is basically the Power Crush. Under the effects of multiple eats, it will get charged up and do attacks, multiple attacks. The real strength of back 1+2 is just the range. Like, how far? Like, probably this far? Like, look at that, dude. Now, on block, it is -14. But yeah, like, good luck executing at, like, tip range against 14. Oh, they're 13 at tip range. Like, what the fuck? So that's kind of nice. Also, as we had seen, that's going to be, like, usually your flop knockdown. Whoops, bad example. That's going to be our flop knockdown option. Super consistent, back 1+2. Decently good damage. Also, it causes wall splat. And then, similarly, at tip, it still causes wall splat. So it's a good tool to have. The issue, of course, with it is that it's linear as shit. So even normal sidestepping, we'll lose. And then you can't actually even buffer the 1+2 option, except for, like, a diagonal cancel, or, sorry, to make it a line. Because if you mistime it, similar to, like, 1+2, you'll get 1+2, like, sidestep 1+2 instead, which is completely linear as well. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, it's very good, especially for -14, like we were talking about earlier. Like, what character can launch 14s, right? Who cares? Okay, 442. In the vein of linear attacks, super linear. I won't show you. Basically, doesn't track. On hit, it's +6. On counter hit, it's a launcher. The nice thing with 442 is this is a Zantetsuken attack. So we're getting meter every time we hit him here. And then, of course, on counter hit, we get a lot of meter. So, and then on block, we still get meter, and we're safe on block. The issue, of course, is the linear part of the move. But having a counter hit tool with good range is actually nice to have access to that. So, yeah, it's not super useful, but it's probably going to be meta-defining for quite some time. Okay, his unblockable backpack 1+4 is very slow, but if you notice, it kind of gives you, like, that flop state similar to Lars. So yeah, we get a pickup if you want it. Also, just like everything else on Clive. Okay, not that much range, but pretty fucking close. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's not the worst unblockable. Let's see, does he do a backsway? Nah, well, maybe he's kind of evasive. It's hard to say, but okay, it's not the worst, but it's not horrible either. Okay, running 2. Interesting. So on block, we're +2. The difference here, though, is that, whoops, I want to have a block on it. The difference here, though, is when we, let me just put him on, actually on block, is we can hold forward to transition into Phoenix. On block, from Phoenix, we're +14, so again, everyone's favorite 4. 1+2 beats everything except for power crushes. And then from here also, Hell Sweep and everything else will effectively still win, right? So, yeah, you can take your Oki's choice. Now, on hit, we can still do our attacks. The issue is we don't get the special kind of attack throw animations. But, for instance, we can do our Zantetsuken follow-up for some meter. And then at the wall, we're actually into a proper attack throw. So we get bonus meter by doing our extensions. So, yeah, it's not horrible. It's kind of nice little flavor for him. Plus 14 is pretty good on block. So, you know, do your mix-up of choice afterwards. Okay, 10 string. I've tried doing this 10 string. Okay, so first of all, there's no lows in this 10 string. So just hold mid. Like, just hold mid. Like, just hold back and you'll be fine. Yeah, there are highs to duck. But yeah, I mean, just hold back. But I've tried doing this. This is super fucking hard. The timing on it, I don't know. There's something spicy about that timing. I just cannot do it. Okay, key charge is normal. His floating stance is just hold up, have you seen? Tap. Or sorry, hold rather. You can jump upwards, jump forward, and jump retreating. We'll get to those moves later. I'm surprised he skipped it. Okay, so as you've seen. So if you want to spend your meter, it's 1+4. Again, this completely scales with how much your Zantetsuken is charged up. Minus 15 on block. As we've seen, this is a really great way to end long combos. Look at that, even that shitty combo is good. And same thing with down forward 2, eat burst, into the meter pop. Again, spends all our meter. And we still do good damage. So you can tag on long combos with that to, you know, do like major work. The thing of note though is regardless of your level, it's going to spend all of it. So there's no way for you to just spend like 1 bar or 2 bar like there is with a 2D character. You're all in when you perform that. So just keep that in mind. And then also again, on block, minus 15, regardless of your level, same thing. Also, it's what, 22, if I remember correctly? Yeah, so it's kind of slow. The range, I think, is okay. Yeah, okay, the range is pretty fucking good. But, yeah, you're going to be using it at the end of your combos. Okay, wall stand punishment. So we've already seen... Okay, well, I'll do this first. So wall stand 1-2 is I-13. It's a wall splat, because it's spin. Also, we can shift into Zen, or sorry... shift into Phoenix by holding forward for our +6 execution. But for the most part, like wall stand 1-2 at +9 is pretty fucking good. Yeah, I would imagine taking the +9 might be a little bit more valuable. Wall stand 2 is I-15. It tracks to his left. So like for instance, if he sidesteps out. Oh, was that the timing thing? Oh, okay. So, okay, tracks to his right. There's sidestep left. My bad. On block, this is minus 14. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I imagine this is a weapon attack, so it's safer against reversals and stuff like that. But yeah, you're still punishable on block, so just keep that in mind. Wall stand 3 is pretty cool. So this is I-20. It's on block. It's completely safe. And then on hit, it's an attack throw for wall splat. So it's actually a nice tool to have because we get full wall splat. And again, we're only -8, even with, unlike, you know, an option like 3-2, which doesn't do shit. With wall stand 3, we're completely safe on block. So that's actually really nice to have access to. And again, from a wake up position, we can tap up and do wall stand 3 to perform it as well. So that's pretty nice. Wall stand 4. Oh, I didn't realize it can shift into Phoenix. Wow, okay. Safe on block. Let's see on hit. +6, okay. And then if we transition, we're still +6. Okay. So either take the standing +6 or go into stance. Like if you think they're going to mash out like a Rage Art, you can always let the, you know, the Phoenix 4 rock, and then you beat the Power Crush, and then get to keep going on with your day. Full Crush Down Forward 2 is basically Noctis's old low option. The thing of note is that there's no counter hit on this, so it's not super good. Let's see, I would imagine this is minus 13 on block. Okay, so the frame data is okay, but it doesn't do anything. So without a counter hit like the Noctis counter hit, it's a little bit devalued. Like I talked about, like down 1 into Full Crush Down Forward 1 is not really a trap because they can still thread out and beat it with a Power Crush. So a little bit devalued, but okay, he has it. The range probably is okay. Yeah, pretty good range. Okay, a little bit less than I would think, but yeah, that's okay. And for minus 12, non-generic option. I guess technically this is a weapon, so you can't low parry it. So that a little bit more credence to having that as an option as well. Okay, Sidestep T1. It has a just frame on it. Still minus 15 for the just frame. And of course, we have talked about that already. With the effects of heat mode is a natural launcher. Sidestep 1+2 is the better version of Sidestep 2-1. The issue, though, as we had seen or had shown accidentally, is that Sidestep 1+2 doesn't do any sort of tracking, but naturally is a launcher, so it's not bad. If you're able to get your opponent to close up, it's +2 on block. But still, it's hard to execute on this +2 because of the pushback that naturally occurs. So please keep that in mind. Otherwise, though, yeah, it does also hit grounded. So if the opponent stays in the grounded position, you still have that going for you. Yeah. Okay, as we had shown, you can transition into wings by just tapping 3+4. You can hold back, hold forward, and then again, if they go low, you automatically low parry. His first attack is Wings 1, which is a little projectile. It does not go full screen. And then on hit or on block, he'll automatically transition into Phoenix. The issue here, though, is that, yeah, it's 18, so it's pretty... Oh, sorry. On hit, he transitions to Phoenix. But on block, he's back into stance at minus 19. And again, you can't instantly cancel the stance. So there is a penalty for entering and exiting it. So yeah, I would say if you're going to hit a button, you should hit the next button, which is Wings 2 or Fly 2. Simply because when he does it, he like pushes himself back. Against an airborne opponent, as we had seen, that is the one that transitions into attack throw. And then again, this is completely automated. It just automatically does this against an airborne opponent. And look at that damage. Hella good. And because it's unscaled 30%, you can do a really long combo and end with that. And then like really tear shit up. Yeah, I don't know the practicality of a move like Fly 3. The issue, like I was talking about, the issue with everything out of Fly or Wings is everything is really slow. This is 17, so it's no different. Or sorry, 27. So it's still really slow. It's not really evasive. It's basically just his parry as a button. It does cause instant launcher, but on block, yeah, it's launch punishable. So I guess it's, okay, minus 15 with pushback, so there is some credence to going for it. So I take it back. That's probably, maybe if you don't, well, like, yeah. Hard to say. It depends, I guess, how the meta's going to evolve. But yeah, I guess with pushback, it's going to be impossible to minus 15 this. With that being said, just don't mash at minus 15 with pushback, because like he Demon Paws, we're going to get hit. And then, yeah, Phoenix 4 is just allows us to cancel into Phoenix. And then if you want to also stand down, just tap down to hit the floor. Okay, Phoenix option, 4-3. Phoenix 1 is your Power Crush. Power Crush on I7. It is enhanced. Oh, recoverable health on hit. Yeah, that's an important thing too, I suppose. So yeah, we get a good amount of chunk of our health back, whereas if we do an option like Phoenix 2-2, we get barely any health recovered back. We get what was that, say 2? Yeah, oh, sorry, we got 1 health back. But Phoenix 1, we get 10 health back. So that's pretty nice. So Power Crush also, it is enhanced, of course, when you absorb incoming attacks. So Phoenix 2, we just show this. That's our 15 frame option. And it's safe on block. And then we have 2 options out of Phoenix 2. We have the Phoenix 2-1, which is our natural hit wall splat. On block, this is -12. Also, regardless of the animation, the Phoenix 2-1 never launches. It just is going to cause the knockdown state. Against the airborne opponent, of course, though, well, I don't know, let's show it immediately. 2-1, we get our tornado spin, of course. 2-2 is our Zan variation on it. That gives our attack throw, -13 on block. And then we had seen earlier that we also, under the effects of heat mode, have Zen 2, 1+2, which is like a better version of that, which causes wall splat. Okay, so from our Phoenix, we have 2 hell sweeps. We have Phoenix 3-2, which is a long-range wall splat tool. So if we're by a wall, we can perform that. Although I guess at that range, it's not going to properly splat. And then the other variation we have is Phoenix. My bad. We have Phoenix 3, 1+2, which is our Zantetsuken option. And you see we have some gauge by performing it. Keep in mind that this is a hell sweep. So if they block the initial hit, yeah, I mean, we're -26. we're not in a good place. Okay, and the last one that's really crucial is Phoenix 4. -13 on block, I-15. On hit, it's -1. Leaving us both in full crouch. Although on counter hit is +13 in full crouch. So for +13, of course, we have 2 really good valid options. We have wall stand 1+2 for heat engage. Or we can go for wall stand 1-2 for wall splat. Keep in mind, by the wall, both of these will still give you a splat. Never mind. I take that back. Okay, so by the wall, you always want to go for wall stand 1-2. Although, if you are open field, wall stand 1+2 can be heat dash canceled for small combo, of course. So we have that on the table. Damage isn't great, but for a -13 low that's I-15, I mean, there's definitely worse things to have. Phoenix 1+2 is the heat engage. Again, under certain scenarios, the option is guaranteed. The benefit, of course, which we had talked about already, is just the fact that the Phoenix 1+2, not that, Phoenix 1+2 is completely safe on block. Also has really good tracking. So not a bad option to go for, especially if you have, you know, heat on the table for heat dash cancel option to keep your pressure going. And I think we're almost done, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then he has the pull. I forgot. That's the last one. So remember how I said all of them are valid in that scenario? Yeah, except for one. Yeah, it's the stripper pull. I-28. The nice thing, +7 on block. The other benefit, of course, is that it's a homing attack, and it's a natural knockdown, and then by the wall, that will also give us full wall splat for a combo. So if you have the frames or the read, you can do this. The nice thing is, yeah, it has really good range, especially when you combine the transition off of Phoenix, and then the fact that he jumps on the pole and then does the attack afterwards. So, like, we're here, what, like range 5-ish, and we still hit him. So that's actually pretty good. So it could be worse. There are definitely worse homing attacks in the game. The issue, of course, is just the speed, but the fact that it's +7 on block is super, super, super good. Okay, so yeah, basically this is the end here. So again, we can enter in fly stance. If we do our fly right away, not bad. We do an attack. So we have 1, we have 2, and then 3. As I was talking about, if you don't mash the inputs, like for instance, this is up forward 1, which is basically jump 1 right away. If we wait a few frames on the way down, all of a sudden our attacks all have blue sparks on them. The thing of note though is with these blue sparks, it's just damage. For instance, the like floating state 1, updraft 1 is -11. And it doesn't really matter on what frame we're hitting. Now, granted, here it does because we're -12 versus -11, but we're still punishable even if we have the blue spark come out. So just keep that in mind. You're just doing bonus damage by doing the blue spark, and other than that, a little bit more chip damage, so on and so forth. Now, the nice thing, understanding that regardless of what we do, we're going to be punishable, we can actually do a retreating variation on the attack, which basically makes it safer. So here, rather than being -12, -11 on our opponent's face, we're retreating and we're -11 at like long range. So one major asterisk, don't do 2-2 because like you're going to be launch punishable. But yeah, you can still do retreating too. It looks cool. It's not practical. You're still hella negative. But okay, you have access to that, sure. One other thing of note, and yeah, we'll get to it. So again, yeah, updraft option. This is typically what you're going to be doing like out of a normal like launching Depth 2. Like for instance, the combo I showed earlier. I can do like 2-2. And do our spin option there. But again, yes, still punishable. On natural hit, it just causes knockdown, but we're still risking our life by going for an option like that. So, unlike other 2D characters in previous games, so when we do our updraft option, we can delay the input. So on the way up, we're not getting blue spark. On the way down, we're getting a blue spark. But we can actually wait until the later active frames where we almost touch the ground to still perform the blue spark variation, right? The issue here, though, is the closer we get to the ground, we can't actually perform certain attacks because it still takes time for the animation to occur. This is not quite analogous to like a safe jump in a 2D game, but it's something of note that's really, really important. What I was trying to say or getting to is unlike other 2D characters in Tekken 7, like for instance, our jumping 3 is a high, but we can't actually perform a mid variation on the high, regardless of what frame we're occurring on. So like Namco, they decided, unlike Tekken 7, where you can do a high that's actually a mid, you can't actually do it in this game. So regardless of our mid or high options, even if we like delay it as much as possible, we're still not ever going to hit Jin in a crouch state because it's still explicitly a high option. So that's a nice little nerf that they made to 2D characters. So if they ever add 2D in this game, they probably can't do like the safe jump high mids, which is a good thing. Okay, on a standing opponent, the updraft 3 is pretty safe. Updraft 4, same thing. It's just a very fast variation on the attack. But yeah, we're safe. The only issue is our mids are the punishable ones. So -11, launch punishable. Even if you go to the first one, you're still launch punishable. And then yeah, we're always punishable. But like I said, you can always do the retreating variations on this, which are okay. For the most part, updraft is only going to be used for combos. You're never going to be doing it like a geese jump attack sort of thing. Okay, for our throws, pretty straightforward. 4 throw option, 2 option, and then like the other ones, if from the side you still perform the generic throws. There is no specific throw to the side. The only one he has special is to the back, where he does a big Sammy Sosa into the javelin, but it's only 50 damage because he's not a grappler. Up 1+2, or 4 1+2. Standard 40 damage, 12 frame throw, nothing special. Okay, so he actually has a Wong Jinrei back 1, and that is by performing a back 3. So while the opponent attacks, let's go ahead and do defensive. We'll do this one again. So I can perform a back 3, which it's not super strict, but it still has some strictness to it. Oh, well, that one didn't look strict at all. Yeah, the nice thing, though, is because this is basically a taunt or a parry, we can't get counter hit, so we're never going to eat a counter hit by going for an option like this. Now, with that being said, I imagine this is susceptible to throw, so let's go ahead and test it. Let's find out. Because in theory, it should be. Yeah, okay, there you go. So throws will still beat the parry, though, regardless. Yeah, so we can't break the throw because we're doing a parry. So from the reversal, we have 2 options. Oh, sorry, I want to do this open field first. So we have 2 options from the parry. We can do parry 2, which is a wall splat. Or we can perform the parry 1+2, which kind of similar to what I was talking about earlier. Causes attack throw animation. The benefit here, there's 2 different things like you have to note here, right? So the 2 does 35 damage, and the 1+2, okay, also does 35, my bad. The benefit is the meter. So if we perform a 2, we don't use the Zantetsuken, so we don't get any of our limit break. But if we use the 1+2, we do get basically 70% of a charge of our meter. So if you have a wall possible, like your opponent's back is to wall, then going for parry 2 is more valuable. If you're open field, you probably want to go for parry 1+2 just to, you know, again, get that extra meter going for that unscaled damage. Okay, as we've shown earlier, entrance into stance is a low reversal. Also, if you stay in the stance, it's a low reversal. Otherwise, you can perform a low parry just like any other character, which costs you your tornado spin. And yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I caught most of everything. If I missed anything, please let me know with the time code to it so I can learn. As mentioned, there's a good chance a few of his moves will probably be getting nerfed within the next couple of months, simply because some are a little bit over-tuned, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Clive will remain unscaled god for a while until Season 2, which will probably occur in like February or something like that. So yeah, if I made a mistake, please let me know. Other than that, if there's anything you want to see, please let me know also in the comments. If I hit me up, YouTube, Red, Twitch, Twitter. Please consider becoming a member to support the channel. Beyond that, I think that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. That's all.